All right, you guys, she's back. Hello, and welcome to another edition of Wind Down Wednesday with my Lady of the Week. Yes, I was gone last week because my son turned 18 and graduated high school all in the same week. Hi, sire. So yes, we are back this week. I hope everybody is having a wonderful Wednesday. I'm going to wait a minute so we can have some other people come on into the wine room. Let's see who we have so far. We have Sharon Harris has joined us. Hi, Sharon. Hey, lady. Oh, hey, Alex. Yes, look at his face, y'all. This was done by my makeup artist, Mr. Linda, aka Alex. You guys can follow him at MUA Alex with 2X. Please show him some love, you guys. Of course, I gotta shout out the baddest hairstylist in LA, Miss Lanny B, the stylist. Again, that's Lanny B as in Bravo, the stylist. Show her some love as well. And these cute little earrings and this little bracelet of mine, these are by Banana Republic. I love Banana Republic. They have like the best sales on accessories. Well, listen, okay, guys, this week's Wind Down Wednesday is a doozy. Y'all hear the song in the background, Survivor? And my lady of the week is definitely a survivor. So you guys give me a few minutes and I'm going to welcome her into the wine room. But before we do that, you guys know the drill. Y'all gonna get y'all glasses up because it is Wind Down Wednesday, and have a toast with me. Cling, cling, cling. All right, let's see who else is in here. Hi, Mom. My mom just joined us in the wine room. You guys go follow my mama at imani.richardson, that's 792. Go show her some love. I also have hand poured with love candles. Hey, lady. She's in the wine room. I also have, is it Sarin? Okay, I'm gonna spell it out. SARITANGPAL01 has joined us. Not sure how to pronounce that, and I don't want to butcher your name. Let's see who else we have in here. Hey, Phyllis at PCPR underscore communications underscore agency. That's my publicist. Go show her some love. All right, who else do we have? We also have Nancy. I think it's Nancy L7794. Hey, lady. Hey, Nancy. Thanks for joining us. Okay, and I think Miss Angela has just pushed her button to request to come on into the wine room. So let's bring her on in, everybody. Yes, so my lady, Angela Curvey-Chukwu. I think that's how we say your last name, Angela. Sorry if I butchered it, but you'll correct me in a minute. So, hello.
Hey,
How are you?
I am wonderful. How are you?
I am well, Angela. Thank you so much for joining me this evening.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, absolutely. Well, okay, but before we get things started, honey, because your story is a doozy. Look, and we need to have a we need to have a little glass of wine here. So let's toast it up. Clink, 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 clink.
Clink, clink.
All right. And we will get into this conversation. First of all, can you tell everybody who you are and where you're from?
Yeah, so my name is Angela Curvey-Chukwu. I am a writer. I am a speaker, coach, child of God, wife, mother, grandmother. Yay, they call me. Yes. And I live in Acton, Maryland. So I'm in Maryland. I'm in the DMV. Mine is the D.
Okay. So everybody, Angela and I met a couple of months ago. She was actually interviewing me for, was it Women for the Culture?
Yes.
Right? And
yes.
So I decided to turn the interview around on Miss Angela because she has a story that I think you guys, no, not I think, I know you guys need to hear. So without further ado, why don't we just go ahead and jump into it? Angela, you wrote a book called Through the Tears, From Pain to Purpose. I want to tell you that your book takes transparency and loyalty to a whole nother level. So, first of all, what made you write the book?
Well, it was for for many years, God had put on my heart that it's time to release it, right? It's time to go ahead and to let it go and to be able to help other people, to show them that there is hope, that there's light at the end of the tunnel. And so it was just that. It was like, God was saying it's time to do it. So that's
Okay.
what I did.
Okay, so let's go to the beginning of the book. And I don't want to give too much away because I do want people to buy the book so they can read it for themselves. But I just want to touch on the beginning. And so a lot of what you went through kind of stemmed from your sense of abandonment.
Yeah.
You talk about the abandonment issues that you had with your biological father who was kind of in and out of your life.
Mm-hmm.
So can you talk to us a little bit about that abandonment? What are the signs of abandonment, and what encouragement to you that you give to women who are suffering from abandonment issues?
Yes. So let's see. Let's break it down. So, um, it started, pretty early. And then at first I was kind of like, things are kind of different. Because, for a long time it was just me and my mom. And then, when he finally did show up and there was some broken promises that were there, and I was like, okay. Um, then I was like, okay, well, now that it's been here, now it's gone, what's going on. And for a long time I struggled and I thought that it was me. I thought
Mm.
it was wrong with myself. And that's really where, how the journey began, to my downward spiral.
Mm-hmm.
Because I always thought that it was something that I did or I didn't do or wasn't good enough or anything like that. So that's where the downward spiral started. And so as far as like, when you like what are some of the signs of abandonment?
Mm-hmm.
Um from, like I said, how I was feeling, I felt like it was something that was wrong with me. Um and then, it's just somebody just not being present, and then you feeling like, you're not good enough, you're not worthy, and those things. But what I can say, and the encouragement that I can give people, is that we tend to take people's issues and put them on ourselves.
Mm.
Somebody chooses not to be in your life, then we
Yeah.
have to know that we are more than enough.
Right.
It's that it's their decision, and it's actually their loss when they are not there in our lives, because we're fabulous. So they missed
Absolutely.
out.
Yeah, we don't get to decide. We don't, we're
Right.
not the adult in the situation. But let me ask you this: through your coaching and your mentoring that you do you find that women whose fathers have abandoned them, you touch on this, that they kind of go looking for love in all the wrong places, right?
Oh,
So
mhm.
I know that that was one of the things that also led to some of the things that you did. So can you talk about that kind of loss and that sense of love that you went looking for?
Oh yes, because we're always trying to fill that space, and so we're trying to prove ourselves, and prove ourselves to ourselves and to others,
Mm-hmm.
and so we're trying to always find, how can I fix this? How can I make myself feel worthy? But the thing is that we need to stop trying to find the outside sources to do what we need to do, the work on the
Yeah.
inside, because that's where it starts.
Yeah, the inner work. And so, okay, so you started running away from home.
Yes.
How young were you the first time that you ran away?
Well, the very first time that I ran away from home, I may have been, well, the very first time I think I was maybe about like 5 or 6, I think.
What?
Yeah, I was really young. And I was like, I'm leaving here. I'm going to go and stay with my grandparents. And my mom, she was like, okay. And
Right.
she watched me. I mean, she was like, yeah, I watched you out there. You were ready to get on the bus. I had packed my stuff and I was leaving.
At
But
5, Angela?
yeah, I was ready to go.
Wow.
I wanted to be my grandparents. Right. Terrible.
Wow.
And then again, I can remember, how old was I? I rode my bike from my house to my grandparents' house. That was my safe place, my
That was your refuge. Mm-hmm.
dad. And so I think at that time I may have been about, was I maybe like 9 or 10 or something like that. But when it really started, where I just was like, I just was leaving, and I was like, I'm going out to find something.
Mm-hmm.
What I was looking for. I was about 13 years old.
Wow.
Yeah, 13, yeah, 13, 14 years old. Yeah,
Wow.
that's when it really got hot and heavy.
Wow. And I think that most people think when they think of runaways, they think they're going from these homes that are just awful. That wasn't really your case. You
Mm-mm.
know, you had a loving mom. Your
Mm-hmm.
mom had married. You had a stepfather who was,
Mm-hmm.
kind and supportive and there for you. So what was that about though? Why were you running away? What were you trying to escape from?
Well, so there were some things that were going on in the house that a young person should not have seen.
Okay.
But I think that I just honestly I don't know. I was like trying to find myself. And
Hmm.
like I said, I was trying to find myself through outside sources and I wanted to be accepted. That is another way that you can tell about like, when somebody may have abandonment issues, self-esteem, like it really messes with your self-esteem. And so I was always trying to find places where I fit in, and that's really what I was looking for.
Yeah, I bring that up only because I think sometimes we think it looks like a certain thing and it's not a cookie cutter experience. You know what I mean? Like everybody's experience is different, but just knowing kind of what those signs are to look for if you're dealing with a teen or someone who's maybe running away or, they're seeing that their self-esteem is declining, that,
Yes.
to, have a heightened sense of awareness to that.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's fast forward to 15. You're 15 years old and somebody introduces you to crack cocaine.
Yes, yes. So before that, my drug of choice, I used to drink, and my drug of choice was PCP. We called
Wow.
it the Love Boat. And so from there, it was like we were actually me and my friend, we were going out, and somebody was like, try this. And it was a high that I had never experienced before. And it took me to a place that I was like, oh my gosh, I don't ever want to be here again. And it took me a while to get down. But that was the beginning of my love-hate relationship with that.
And so you kind of had that love-hate relationship for about 3 years, was it?
Yep. For 3 years. Yep.
So was there a point where you just kind of hit rock bottom and you were just like, okay, enough of this? Or did you ever hit rock bottom?
I did, and there were, and for a while, I just was like, I was just chasing it. You're chasing to find that first experience that you had before.
Hmm.
So you're chasing that, and then there did come to a time where I had enough time to say, this is not you, and it's time to go. And so I left. I left, and some people are like, they don't believe. I left and I just stopped smoking. I was like, this, I'm not doing this anymore. And
That's amazing. You didn't go through rehabilitation. You
and
just woke up one day and decided that's it for me.
yep, that's it. I was like,
Wow.
I can't do this anymore because I knew this is not where I'm supposed to be. Like I had those moments during those 3 years where I was like, this is not even where I'm supposed to be. This is not who I am. This is not who God has birthed me to be. So even during those dark times, I knew who God was, and from a very young age, God had been speaking to me. I knew who he was. I grew up, in a home where we went to church.
Hmm.
My family, I have a lot of pastors and people who are in the church. So I knew who God was, and it would be those times he's like, this is not even where you're supposed to be. But I know it was him that protected me in those dark times.
Hmm.
But even in those moments where, you come to yourself, it would be like, okay, well, here's a distraction. Here you go.
Right.
So
Right.
yeah.
Right. It's you said something in the book that I always say. You said God protects babies and fools.
And I was both. And I was both.
Look, been there,
Yes.
done that. So I that totally resonated with me when I saw that. I just kind of laughed to myself. Okay, but look, you're not finished yet. You're not finished dabbling. So you trade in your drug habit to
Yes.
now you get with somebody who has you doing runs, drug runs.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so was it cocaine that you were running, that you
Yes.
were dealing?
Yes. So that's what I said. That was
Ooh,
so my addiction, it went from me using it. And usually it's the reverse
right.
because usually people start with selling it and then
Selling, right.
start using their product. It was the reverse for me. I was over it, but I wasn't. Then I was on the other side, which is also, it's an addiction because
Right.
then you get used to the fast money, you get used to, you know, all of that lifestyle. So yeah, so it did continue. So my use of it was about 3 years, but then on the flip side, it was a few more.
So,
Mhm.
okay, so how long were you dealing cocaine?
Um, that was it was probably that was a little shorter. That was maybe like in the thick of it. It was probably for about like probably about like 2 years, and then there was this really big ugly thing that you'll have to read about in the book.
Right.
That yeah.
I kind of want to touch on that without touching on it, but let's just say you got caught.
Right.
Okay. You did some time.
Hmm.
We won't tell them where you did the time because
Right.
that's a whole girl, that's a whole other thing. But in doing the time, you had some, I guess, some friends that you had recruited to help you do this. And so then they got caught.
Right.
And when I say you took loyalty to a whole nother level, honey, I was like, oh my God. So, okay, so what was it about you that made you want to be so loyal to them as you all were going through the process of doing time?
Well, it's always do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And I felt guilty and felt bad because I was like, this is my fault. Even though they made the decision, I didn't force anybody to do anything, but I felt though it was, they were there because I introduced them to this.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I don't feel right about doing that. I wouldn't want anybody to abandon me.
I was just about to ask you that if some of that was because of the abandonment issues that you experienced, that you didn't in turn want to give them that as well.
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly. And that's really what it is. That's exactly what it was.
Okay. And so now we're going to fast forward. You are, so how old were you when that occurred?
That was I was 21, 2021.
2021. And so you had your first child at what age?
I was 22.
You're 22. So a year later, you have your first child. And so bringing a child into the world, what was that like for you? Because I know, you had some issues with your child's father as well.
Mm-hmm.
So you got a lot going on.
Girl,
Poor child. I'm
I
reading the
know.
book and I'm like, look, as soon as I flip the page, I'm like, okay, it's about to get better. Oh Lord, she done hit me with something else. And I literally could not put it down. I
Oh,
couldn't put it down. And again, like I said, you were so transparent and telling your story. So now you have a child. What's your headspace knowing that you're about to give birth? Where are you now?
well, my headspace was that I wanted to make sure that I wanted a family, right? I didn't want my daughter. I didn't want my child to grow up without having a father. So if
Right.
that meant that, whatever it was to that was going to that we would remain a family, it was okay. If I had there were some things that I kind of turned a blind eye to because I did not want her to grow up without a father, because I knew what it did to me, and I wanted to break that cycle, but I didn't do it in the right order.
Mm-hmm.
Everything in decency and order. But yeah,
So,
yeah.
what was your biggest fear in raising your children?
That I was not going, that I would fail as a mother.
Mm-hmm.
That I would fail as a mother, and what that looks like to me is that, my children would not be taken care of properly. I wouldn't give them and it wasn't just about the things, right? That took
Mm-hmm.
growth. That took growth because at first it was just about I'm going to make sure that they have everything that they want. Because with my first daughter, I was able to do that. You
Right.
know, her father was still he was around, so I was able to do that, give her whatever it is that she needed.
Right.
But I wanted to, as I grew, and I tell everybody, I did not grow up until I was pregnant with my second child.
Mm-hmm.
With the first one, I was kind of able, I was like, oh yeah, my mom was super, I was still going out, still partying. I was still doing my thing. But when I got pregnant with that second baby, I said, you know what? I have to figure something out
Mm-hmm.
because what happens if we can't live this lifestyle forever?
Right.
Because it usually ends in one of two ways, right?
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
we really need to think this thing through. And so I was like, okay, I need to find myself. I need to get a career. I need to, I started doing adult things.
Right.
So yeah, I just wanted to make sure that, that they had the things that they needed. And they didn't have to go through the one thing that I didn't want them to do was have to go through the things that I did. And I know everybody has their own story and their own life that they have to live.
And their own journey. Yep.
Right. They have their own journey that they have to go through. So I had to learn that too.
Right.
Still a student.
Absolutely. A lifelong student, honey. And just when we think we got it all right, bam,
Okay.
a monkey wrench comes along the way. So you
Yeah.
definitely have to be adaptable to this
Yeah.
thing called life. So I know that, every survivor has a different experience and different points in their life where they're healing. Where are you right now after all of this? After everything that you've been through, where are you in your journey of healing?
Um, Still doing that, healing.
Mm-hmm.
I am more self-aware and I do a lot more self-check-ins,
Mm-hmm.
right? And saying, really, why does that make you feel the way that it makes you feel? I've learned my triggers, so I've learned to, and I'm still learning more about myself because there was, this may be maybe probably about like a month or so ago.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I was really agitated about something. And so, like, my best friend, she was like, "What is wrong with you? You're being kind of mean." And I just was like, very agitated. And I was like, "Well, why am I acting that way? Why do I feel that way?" And it was because I was feeling rejected. See, I thought
Mm.
that I had been healed from that. You know what I'm saying? But it was a trigger,
A
and I
trigger.
was
Yeah.
feeling rejected, and so I started lashing out because I
Mm.
was I was kind of like, I was just like, I'm just done, whatever. And then it was like, that's what it is. And so I'm at a place where I hold myself accountable, but
Hmm.
I surround myself with people who will also hold me
Hold you accountable. No, that's huge. Yeah,
accountable.
that's what so many of us lack, that accountability. And
Yeah.
to your point about those childhood traumas,
Mhm. Mhm.
they don't just go away on their own. You know
Right.
what I mean? You really have to do the work. And so many of us, especially in our community,
Yes.
we look at therapy or counseling or, anything like that as, like something's really wrong with us, like we're crazy to seek help. And
Right.
not really understanding that when you do ask for help, it's such a phenomenal thing to do.
Mm.
But we all deal with it and process things in our own way. But that accountability piece,
Right.
is everything.
Yes.
I want to circle back to something that you mentioned in the beginning where we talk about self-esteem,
Yes.
especially in young women.
Mhm.
So as a coach, what are the ways that you kind of help instill that self-esteem in them?
Well, just reminding them that you can't compare yourself to other people. And I think that when we're watching TV, we're watching reality shows, or we're looking at social media. It's so quick to we want to compare ourselves with them.
Absolutely.
However, we don't know what's really going on in the background. you know. And if you've never been on the set of a TV show, you don't know what's going on the outside.
Right.
You know, you don't know how many takes that it took to get that, or, you know, or if you see, if I post a picture, you don't know how many selfies I took.
Tell me about it. Right, right. Look, I've had people say to me, "You don't take a bad picture." I said, "Yes, I do. I just don't post them."
There you go.
Right?
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Because social media is just that. It's a highlight reel. You know, everybody's just highlighting the good parts of their lives, you know, and that self-esteem component, while it is for yourself, you know, you just don't know where people are coming from, you know, at all. So I want to take a couple of seconds just to see if anybody in the audience has any questions. Like I said, she's a coach. See, she's a writer, she's a mentor. If you guys have any questions or anything that you want to ask her, feel free to ask away. Let me see if there's anybody here in the audience. Okay, so can you tell everyone where can they find your book?
So they can find it on my website, which is AngilaCurvey.com. It's is it?
Girl, I've been saying curvy. It's curvey. And then curvey.
So it's Angila C. So ANGILAC.com. I also they can also find it on Amazon. It is on Amazon, but you know, I would like they would buy it, if they would purchase it from me, then that way I can actually sign it. I would like to do that for them. But if you don't want it, it is on. If you don't want the, you know, personalized, then you can get it on Amazon. So yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Sissy. She put it in there. Yes, it's AngilaC.com.
Perfect. Okay, so I just have a few more questions that I like to ask all my guests before we leave. So my first question, Angela, what is your superpower?
My superpower. My superpower. I'm going to say so. Well, I guess that would be my God-given power is forgiveness. But my superpower is I'm gonna make you laugh. I'm funny.
Absolutely. No, you are. Yes, you really are. The whole time you interviewed me, girl, we were laughing. So I was like, okay, we really need to get through this interview. So
right.
And that's a great superpower to have because we all need a little laughter in our lives. Okay, and let me think. What is your favorite quote?
So my favorite quote is actually something that my mother says all the time. And she reminds me to always find the silver lining in every situation.
That's good.
Yeah.
Your perspective changes everything.
Definitely. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I saw somebody on here that is there a part 2. It's coming. I've been thinking of some different angles to take it, because I know that there was I was very transparent, but I didn't get real deep into
everything. Yeah, because as I was reading, like I would go from there, and then you kind of went somewhere else, and I was like, well, wait, what?
Right.
What? Yeah. So you have enough for 4 books, Angela.
Right.
Because you can take each one of those parts and, you know, really expound on, you know, that experience that you have for sure. Okay. And so my last question is, what's the best advice ever given to you?
The best advice that was ever given to me was to make sure that as you're going in life that you're making moments, right? So that moments and memories. And my daughter actually said that, and she was like, you know, she's very intentional with her children to make moments and to make memories. And so I was like, that's a good one, because when you're there, and it sometimes it really does make me sad, because when I think back to, you know, certain points in my life, I don't have a whole lot of good memories,
right?
You know, and you know, at one time it was like when I was still out in the world and I was partying a lot. And even looking back, I was like, well, how did you say that girl, we had a good time? How do you even know? You don't even remember. Like you were so drunk, you don't even remember. And
Right.
to me, it's sad.
Yeah.
So you should live life where you're making good memories and good
Mhm.
moments.
Oh, for sure. I think sometimes we just get caught up in the stuff of life.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We think if we give a child a gift, instead of that quality time, or to your point, really making magical moments, something that they can
Yes.
reflect on and look back and be like, Mommy, you remember the time we went to the park and the this, that, and the third? Yeah, we
Exactly.
definitely need to be intentional, like your daughter says, with making
Yes.
those moments and memories. One thing before I let you go, I did say that was the last question, but I would be remiss if I didn't ask you this. Um, a lot of what you went through and a lot of how you were able to get through is really your faith in God.
Amen. Yes. Yes.
So, can you just talk about that? How you were able to get to that point to where you were able to put God at the center of your life?
It was a choice.
Mm.
It was a decision. And that I said, you know what? I've tried everything, you know. I've tried to do this on my own when the whole time God was there and he was
Mhm.
saying, let me help you. I'm here. And it was a decision. And that's really what it's all about. What you're going to decide to do.
Just made the decision to do it.
That's right. It's all about choices.
Mhm.
We choose. We choose to go this place. We choose to eat this. We choose to wear that. It's about choices. So
Mhm.
I chose God. I chose Jesus.
I love it.
Hmm.
Choose Jesus, y'all. We keep
That's
trying to do
it.
it ourselves, honey, but every time we do, he just reminds us, like, okay, good. Keep trying it your way. You keep
And,
on,
right.
And it doesn't have to be this hard, but we make it so difficult.
Yes, we do.
We
And
make it
the thing
so.
is that he's such a gentleman that he will save you from certain things because we think that we go through a whole lot of terrible things, and there are so many moments in my life that I'm like, I know that that was God. It was one time that we had went out to the club and we had just got there, and as soon as we walked in, and I don't even think I was able to get a drink yet. I was waiting on my drink. And they started shooting in the club.
Wow.
And so we ran the other way and we were able to find, we were hiding under this, I guess like a bar or like, the entrance part, and we were hiding under there. And somebody came and they were just like, they came and they shone the light and they pointed the gun, and I just was like, I know it was God that stopped it because
Wow.
I didn't know at the time that we were sitting right there. We were sitting like where they were keeping the money. I didn't know where we were. And so
Right.
I thought that, maybe we were there trying to take the money. And I was like, I know it was God. It's been so many times in my life, even when I was not where I was supposed to be, he was right there,
Mm-hmm.
so.
Always. Well, he knew you had a greater purpose.
Amen.
And
Yes.
to your point, as we said earlier, he
Yes.
protects what? Babies and
And
food. Well, Angela, on that note, I want to
yes.
say thank you so much for
Yes.
taking the time out of your day to join us here in the wine room.
Yes.
Before we go, we must give another toast.
Yes.
So, clink, 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 clink.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
we will conclude this edition of Wine Down Wednesday with my lady of the week, Angela. Let's say that name again.
Angela Curvey-Chukwu.
Angela Curvey-Chukwu. All
Yes.
right, you guys.
Thank
All
you
right.
so much for having me.
You're so welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this. And guys, go buy her book, please. We left out so many details in the book that you got to pick it up. You got to read it for yourself. Like I said, she is definitely the ultimate survivor. And we're so happy that you're still here to share your story with us, Angela. Okay?
Thank you. All
You're
right.
welcome.
Bye.
All right, lady. We will talk soon. All
Yes, we
right.
will. All
Bye,
right.
everyone. Bye,
Bye.
y'all. Bye.